ARK Survival Evolved contains a chaotic blend of real dinosaurs and real prehistoric technology with robotic dinosaurs and futuristic lasers, and you might think that this rules it out as a serious or factual game, but you might be wrong. When dinosaurs were first discovered in the early 1800s, people had no idea what they were or what they looked like. So paleontologists combined zoological and mythological creatures to comprehend the giant fossils they were discovering. The blend of fact and fiction in ARK Survival Evolved is therefore a perfect metaphor for the history of the discovery of dinosaurs. And in this video, I'm going to show you what I mean by looking at the first sculptures ever made of dinosaurs in the 1850s. I'm Dr. Darren Reid, and you're watching History Through Games. Thank you for tuning in. I'm a historian at McGill University, and this is my series where I use video games to explore historical themes, concepts, or debates. And as always, I really want this series to become a collaboration with all of you. I take seriously all of the comments and suggestions you give me in the comments below. So please, if you have any ideas of future directions for this series, ideas of what games to play in the future, or ideas of historical ideas to explore, please let me know in the comments and I will build them into my future videos. If you've ever played ARK Survival Evolved, you may be aware that the game is populated by both normal real dinosaurs and also futuristic robotic dinosaurs called Tek creatures. But what you may not know is that the very first paleontologists also blended science with fantasy in their creation of what dinosaurs looked like. In 1854, a new exhibit opened up in London showcasing the very first sculptures of dinosaurs that had ever been created. Those sculptures still exist today, and if you go look at them, you might not even recognize them as dinosaurs at all. For example, here is the sculpture of a megalosaurus on the left, and on the right you can see a modern image of a megalosaurus. And you can see that the sculpture looks more like a scaly dog than a dinosaur. Here's another example. On the left is an image of the sculpture of an iguanodon, and on the right is a modern image of an iguanodon. And you can see that the sculpture is basically just a massive iguana. Finally, here is the sculpture of a heliosaurus on the left and a modern image of a heliosaurus on the right. And at least in this case, they're walking on the correct number of legs. Now, there are a number of reasons why these sculptures look so different from modern understandings of dinosaurs. For one thing, people had only been studying dinosaurs for around 30 years when these sculptures were created, and the artists didn't have a lot to go on. So they had to combine the few scientific sketches that they had with pictures of real living animals to come up with these designs. But even without that artistic interpretation, scientists purposefully conceptualized dinosaurs as mythological dragons because that's all that made sense to them. You have to remember that in the early 1800s, most scientists believed the Earth was created by God at 9 a.m. on October 23rd, 4004 BC. The discovery of dinosaur bones that were obviously much older than that were incomprehensible. They were older than the Earth itself, and therefore only made sense if they belonged to mythological creatures like dragons. So scientists regularly described dinosaurs as dragons, and those descriptions informed how artists created the dinosaurs in these sculptures. It's also important to remember that the purpose of these sculptures was not to educate people about science or dinosaurs, but to impress people with the size and power of the British Empire. Dinosaurs discovered on British soil were understood as British dinosaurs and as evidence of the power of the British Empire, even though Britain did not exist when the dinosaurs were alive. And at the same time, the discovery of dinosaur bones by British scientists was understood as evidence of the advanced knowledge and advanced brain power of British people. These sculptures were therefore created for their shock value to impress people, and they were not specifically designed to be scientifically accurate, although they were believed to be scientifically accurate at the same time. So if you find yourself playing ARK Survival Evolved and you stumble across a tech parasaur and you find yourself thinking, wow, that's ridiculous, get that science fiction nonsense out of my dinosaur game, think again. Because science fiction and fantasy have been entwined with paleontology from its very beginnings. And while I'm a historian rather than a paleontologist, I bet you that in 150 years from today, people will look back on our images of dinosaurs and think they are just as ridiculous as those from the 1850s. So perhaps it's best that we embrace the reality that we might not know exactly what dinosaurs looked like, and accept the fact that scientific models have always been ingrained in science fiction and in fantasy. But what do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, along with any suggestions for future video ideas or future games to play. And if you liked this video, you can check out my growing catalog of History Through Games videos or my other series called Video Game Lit Review. Well, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Farewell.